2 years on from the Brexit vote, we're still very unsure of just how leaving the EU could affect the UK economy. Discussions between figures in Westminster and Brussels appear to be progressing very slowly. But I spoke to executive financial services consultant Asif Masood, who is based in London, to hear his views on the issue.
Asif, as someone working in financial services, are you fearful of leaving the EU, or do you think it could actually present many opportunities?
So that's a good question, Aaron. I'm 50-50 on that. I think it will provide us with a lot of opportunities, but I think there's a lot of uncertainty around the issue. A lot of experts have talked about it, and ultimately no one has given a definitive answer as to what the actual outcome will be. So I think until we get clear facts, we won't really know much about that issue.
Yeah, and I mean, how reliant do you believe that our economy as a whole, including the finance industry, actually is on the European Union?
I think we are quite reliant on the European Union. There's a lot of laws that are in place to protect employees. For example, you've got laws in regards to hours you work, the sort of pay you receive, and that's all thanks to European guidelines.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately another issue, I'm a financial services consultant. I work in the London area, and I think over 9,000 jobs are now being taken from London out of Europe. So you've got Goldman Sachs, you've got Standard Chartered, a lot of the large organisations don't want the uncertainty, so they're moving from London to mainland Europe. So that's going to have a big impact both on my sort of industry, but also in terms of the sort of tax we receive, the jobs we have to offer. So there's going to be a big impact on Brexit, in terms of Brexit.
Yeah, and if you had to single out just one particular matter, is there anything that sort of springs to mind as to what could be the biggest challenge for the UK after leaving the EU?
I think the biggest challenge will be adapting. I think there are quite a few, there's uncertainty in terms of the tariffs, the sort of negotiating terms that we're going to have with each of the countries. So are we going to get a good deal, or are we not going to get a good deal? That's providing uncertainty, and I think uncertainty creates a lot of volatility in the marketplace, and I think that will probably be the biggest challenge. Whether it proves to our advantage or disadvantage, the uncertainty in the meanwhile will probably be the biggest challenge for everyone.
I think you touched on the misinformation before, and we're hearing so much, aren't we, information from, I guess, both sides, and at times some scaremongering as well.
Exactly.
But do you think that the EU could actually lose out just as much than the UK once the Brexit process is actually completed?
I think absolutely the EU are losing out. The UK is a major influence on the European Union. We're a power in the world. And ultimately, you've got far-right groups that are exploiting the situation by giving misinformation to the public. So you've got Germany, France, all the far-right groups in the UK even sort of talking about immigration and using that to sort of generate people's anger and make them come to one way, when ultimately you need to think about the facts, both the positives and the negatives, not just about sort of immigration, so to speak.
Yeah. Thanks, Asif. Really appreciate your time today.
That's absolutely fine. Look forward to speaking to you soon.